got to think that Dad spent time with her too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when he
Right.
when Graham was with us, and she was with us for a few years, she was starting to, she couldn't see very well anymore, so she really kind of got more and more isolated. Dad said, send her to Grand Rapids, I'll see her every day. And he did. Grand Rapids, sorry. It's the same thing.
I remember when he was going through the hyperbaric treatments, and he'd go over there, which didn't work, unfortunately.
Well,
he told me.
Yeah, you know, that's really, I think that the wound itself that he was getting treated for was healing, but it was a long process, and he ran out of time.
Yeah.
But
no, although he told me he was finished.
He was finished.
Yeah.
He would go to the hyperbaric treatments, and then he would go to see Graham.
Right.
And one time he was found by the police wheeling his wheelchair back to his place he was living, which was a couple of miles away from where Graham was.
He was on the road or a sidewalk?
He said, I can do this. There was no sidewalk. They ended up picking him up and taking him because he had made some arrangement with a share your ride.
He was probably going to the Buffalo Wild Wings place there on the road.
That's certainly on the way. But, you know, well, Nan and I did. We played Scrabble with Graham. We played two games usually. You know, we'd go a couple of times a week.
I heard Margaret was very good at Scrabble.
She was. She taught us a lot. And the funniest thing was when she would get set up, and we'd go there, we could play in a word, and she'd start laying things down, and she'd go, no! She'd hold them back and put them back on her little thing, and just sit back and look again, and then she'd throw out a 75. Well, she didn't get the whole word out. She just, all week. We didn't give her a break. Because like, Graham, you need to tell me what that word means. And she'd go, pull it back.
I play a lot of Scrabble, and whenever there was a problem with the word, unless it was too late at night, I would always call Margaret.
Yeah.
And get the, expert opinion. We didn't have a dictionary or something, so we had to check that way. She was good.
Well, now instead of using a dictionary, when we play Scrabble with our friends, we are allowed to use any source that we can get our hands on. It's usually Wikipedia or something rather lame like that. But it kind of opens up the game.
Yeah.
Everybody's sitting there with smartphones.
Yes.
And stuff.
Yeah.
That's cheating.
Yeah. Well, it's not cheating when you're saying to somebody that's not a word.
Oh. But everybody gets to cheat evenly, though.
Right.
So
You can't look up a word and see if it's a word first.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we're challenging somebody.
I'm not expecting to say much of anything more, so I'm. If you have something to say, please join in, because a lot of you here know a lot of things about Mom that I don't know.
Well, I think before we even do that, let's thank Kathy Hartung, Cole, who also spent a tremendous amount of time with Graham in the Poconos and in Maryland, and went through lots and lots of her changes and helping her get ready to move and going through stuff. And I've heard lots of stories in the last couple of days from Kathy, so kudos to Kathy as well.
I wish I would have done more, as you always say that after the fact, but most of you have heard this. A few years ago, before Graham went up to Michigan, I recorded her for, 1 to 3 hours on a digital audio, and one of the questions that I asked her was, if you could do life differently, what would you do? And she said, well, I absolutely loved my children. I loved having children, raising my children. I wish I would have had more children. That's what she wanted, more children.
And I didn't know that.
But that was the love of her life for her children.
It's really too bad that...
After what she had, you mean? Or? Surprised he wanted more? Thank you.
It's really too bad...
I'm surprised I had younger brothers.
Michael, we're shocked you're even here.
What'd you say, Tucker?
Tucker, what'd you say, honey?
It's just really too bad that Papa's the last member of his family. Margaret's gone, Larry's gone, Rick and Pete are all gone.
Well, believe me,
He's
I'm
the last.
aware. Thank you. I can't call up and find it. I mean, I don't remember anything, and I used to call up Mom and Pete. Pete was good at remembering things, too. And And I know Kathy does, because, you know, we've been talking and stuff. Kathy, you grew up right next door to them, didn't you?
Yeah, all my teenage years. My mom and dad were there for a lot longer than I was, and I took off, and they were still there on weekends, so. And my brothers.
Yeah, Ermi, who's Kathy's mother, in case, I don't know, I think everybody knows that by now. Let's see, Mom and Dad put up their house, and then you put up your house, what, about a year later, maybe?
We built in 1969. We bought the house in 65 and built the house in 67.
Yeah.
And their house was already up when we built.
There was no road, I guess, at first, was there?
No,
they had to cut down the trees and stumps and make a road called Stag Run, which was interesting when they bought and put their house
were
up.
these permanent places, or it was just summer places? Or
it was a recreational village. And Chuck, I was very, very, very pregnant, and Chuck called his optometric supply house and said, I need a weekend before all this happens again. And they sent him
That's a good idea.
up to the Poconos, and they said, there's an overnight place in Blakesley. And so we stopped overnight and had this meals there, and overheard a conversation about buying land in the Poconos, building a house, renting it out, and making your first $1 million. And his two hairs stood up, and he decided, okay. So he goes riding down the road, and
And that's why we hear about all those Pocono millionaires.
Yeah, exactly.
And he goes down the road, and he passed a number of villages, and came upon Locust Lakes with a beautiful central building and white stone around it. And then went in and saw on the map that there was state forest, and it was the state forest that attracted him. And so he said, I'll take the land there. And they said, there's no road yet. So when they found out that he was interested, they cut a road pronto. And they just cut the trees down, and he was 6'4". He just stepped over the stumps. He saw 4 oak trees, and he said, I want the land on either side. And so but Apgars had not been built because the road hadn't gone through that far. So that was 65. November 65.
They've got something that we'll always treasure after picking low bush blueberries for years. They had high bush, and we used to go down there, and it was so easy. We'd have to climb a ladder sometimes to pick the blueberries. And Aunt Virginia owned the lot right across the street where the bushes were. And there have been some interesting stories since then about some Russian family coming by and picking all the blueberries that weren't theirs, you know, were private.
Can't trust those Russians.
Oh, those Russians, yeah. See, just were forbearance.
Darn you, Russia.
Not Russia, though. Your dad didn't like Russia at all.
Okay, well,
Lithuania.
let's stick with the Apgar.